Hello, everybody. It is Friday, and it is ready to turn into a weekend of what I think will be good fishing. I will tell you about that when I come back in just a moment.
Wave Runner Fishing Charters provides exceptional Outer Banks fishing trips for anglers of all experience levels. Captain Brian White's love for fishing began at age 6 and soon evolved into a lifelong passion. Located at Wanchese Marina, the Wave Runner specializes in offshore and nearshore fishing adventures, offering guests the excitement of pursuing a wide range of pelagic species. They have the best rates in town. Call today at 252-216-8350 or online at fishwaverunnerobx.com. Welding. It's ultimately the use of lightning to fuse metals and steel together. And at Wanchese Metalworks, that's what they do best. Specializing in marine fabrication and repair on sport and commercial fishing vessels, Wanchese Metalworks does fuel tank fabrication, rod racks, rocket launchers, T-tops, towers, struts, rudders, trim tabs, and green sticks, just to name a few. They also do interior and exterior handrails and stainless kitchen work too. Whether it's MIG and TIG or arc welding, Wanchese Metalworks does it all. They're the realest of the real when it comes to metal and steel. Wanchese Metalworks, 102 CB Daniels Road, Wanchese.
So why do I think it's going to turn into a weekend of good fishing? It's just that it's the time of the year. As Captain Momi would always say, the table is set, and I'm starting to see some activity really popping in some areas. Now, the next big season, probably our strongest season that puts the Outer Banks on the map, will be the yellowfin tuna season. And that really gets, I'd say, mid to late April, it should kick off pretty good and run right on up into June. That's the one where when it's good, it doesn't get any better, or they get a limit of tuna on a charter boat could be as much as 600 or 700 pounds of fish. It doesn't mean it always will be. There'll be days when they catch 2 or 3, and there'll be days when they catch 2 or 3 per person. But we can't complain because right now we still are having great big bluefin tuna fishing. Now, bluefin are different than the yellowfins, the ones I was just mentioning. The bluefins are the ones that get up to 700, 800, 900 pounds, and they are still catching them. Been catching them since the first of the year, 3 solid months of big fish. The season on keeping one is closed, but plenty of people are happy to catch and release a 500-600 pound tuna. And then the smaller ones are also still prevalent, and you can keep one of those per day. So that would be fish like roughly under 200 pounds. We've been talking about that for 3 months. So you think about it. Guys were out yesterday, almost the end of March, catching these big tuna, and they're letting them go. But if you catch one, sometimes you look down in the water, you can see the other ones swimming under the boat. How many hundreds of thousands of other 500-pound tunas are out there feeding on those canyons, on those cliffs, on the continental shelf, these upwellings that bring squid and butterfish and all kinds of other bait up there for them to feed on. Something is holding them in our area much longer than normal. So I don't know what that's all about. I also know that by now we've usually caught more yellowfin tuna than what we're seeing, but something's a little different. And man, if you had some way of knowing how many of those giant bluefin tuna are swimming out there today off our coast, it would probably blow your mind. But anyway, they're still catching them, and that's going on. There's been a few blackfin tuna, especially down in Hatteras. We're seeing some of the first king mackerel of the year showing up now down in Hatteras also. Have not heard of a wahoo, but we're due to start hearing about a few of those any day. And Hatteras, of course, is the wahoo capital of the world, in my opinion. I think that's pretty legit, too. There's not many places you can go and a single boat can catch double figures of wahoo in a single day. So that's pretty good. And then the mahi or dolphin, which it's in the fish books, it's a dolphin fish. But to be politically correct, they're called mahi as well. But those will be showing up pretty quickly as well. So that's the offshore report. Not a lot in the intermediate areas, but we're still in the ocean and we roll all the way up into the surf. And now we're seeing a little bit of a a gradual increase in the surf now in the ocean of some puppy drum, a few yearling drum, especially down off Ocracoke. We've been talking about them. So as you can tell, really not much has changed in our fishing report. But we now have seen a few days where isolated bites of sea mullet have happened. Ramp 38 the other day down in Hatteras Island had a real good bite of some big sea mullet. So that's the lifeblood of that surf fishing group, and great eating fish, fun to catch, and they will be here all the way through past Christmas once they start running. Aren't we thankful for that? So that's what's happening in the surf. A lot of small sharks, a couple big sharks. That's pretty much there. Now, the best news and the things I had to report are in the backcountry and in the freshwater fishing. Again, kind of the status quo, but I'll be back to tell you what to expect there as we go into the weekend. I'll be right back.
Boasting phenomenal seafood dishes, a great menu, and waterfront views with deck seating, Striper's Bar and Grill at the Shallowbag Bay Marina in Manio serves a casual, fun-filled dining experience with an Outer Banks flair. With 3 floors to choose from, you're bound to find the perfect seat for you and yours while enjoying great food and fantastic drinks. To see our menu and to catch a glimpse of the beautiful views, go online to stripersbarandgrill.com. Striper's Bar and Grill at the Shallowbag Bay Marina in Manio, where everyone's a VIP.
So we have had a little bit of activity and a little bit of an increase. Again, back to the start of today's report, the table is set. I know that Gray Davis told me, he's a guide over in Hyde County. He had mentioned to me that they're seeing a lot of finger mullet in the Sound. That's a great piece of news. The drum, the bluefish, even the trout all love that. Love to see those things, and we are hoping that's a good sign. He's had a couple good days fishing in the Pamlico where he's caught nice catches of puppy drum, as have some other folks out there. And then up in the Albemarle Sound, he's had a couple really good days, including yesterday on the rockfish. Now, the rockfish were striped bass. They're around Man's Harbor, but very few people are fishing for them in that area. But the further inland you get, it seems like the better that bite is. So if you have a good seaworthy boat and you're properly rigged up and prepared, you might want to consider going out and trying for a striped bass over the weekend. But again, if we get a decent sunny day and we get, you can find you a spot to get out of the wind, the speckled perch bite is on. I talked to a friend of mine at the grocery store up in Columbia yesterday, and she and her family have been catching speckled perch around Mount Mesquite. So that's really, really good. Speckled perch, called a crappie or a crappie, depending on what neighborhood you're from. Really good to eat. Can be challenging to catch, but when you do find them, and right now I think the minnows are the way to go. That's a really fun fishery. In my mind, about as relaxing and fun as it gets, because you can do it with a cane pole and a minnow and catch a fish that when you clean it up is really, really tasty table fare. So we've also had a few bass, and more than a few. This has been a great week for bass fishing. We've been talking about that all week. So that continues. I don't know how much longer this spring bite will be on, but they're big, and there's plenty of them, especially up on the northern Outer Banks. That's where I'm hearing most of that action coming from. And that is pretty much what we've got going on right now. A lot of other stuff is going to start kicking off as we get into the next few weeks. That drum, the puppy drum bite I mentioned to you in the western Pamlico, we're starting to see a few back of Hatteras over that way. Not hearing a whole lot about it, but we're sitting on go for a great fishing season. So I hope you make your plans, you book your charters. And I do appreciate you coming and finding us and coming back day after day. I hear your comments, and I'm really happy to be sharing some of this fishing information for you. Like Captain Omi Tillett, the father, in my mind, one of the fathers of our Oregon Inlet fishing fleet, always said it's better for everybody to have a few fish than to a few people to have all the fish. And that's why I'm happy to share with you what I know, so that maybe you'll go out and have a good day of fishing. And if you do, I hope the good Lord blesses you with a box full of fish. Have a great day.